So you've probably used ChatGPT, right? But what if it didn't just talk back? What if it could, I don't know, go book that flight for you? Well, that's what we're diving into today, AI agents. This is the next giant leap for AI, a move from just answering us to actually doing things for us.
And really, let's just start with that big question, because it changes everything. What happens when the AI we chat with can actually take our goals and, well, run with them? Get things done in the real world without us having to hold its hand every step of the way? That's the core idea we're going to unpack here. Okay, so here's the absolute key difference. It's this shift you're seeing here, moving from being reactive to being proactive. A chatbot, it's a fantastic pattern matcher. It just waits for you to say something, and then it generates a response. An AI agent, on the other hand, well, that's an autonomous decision maker. You give it a big picture goal, and it figures out the whole series of actions it needs to take to get there, all by itself.
So, how do we actually get from a simple chatbot to something that's genuinely autonomous? Well, first things first, we've got to understand the engine that's powering the tools we already use every single day.
And that engine, of course, is the large language model, or LLM for short. This is the brain we're talking about. Think GPT-4, Gemini, Claude. It's been trained on just an unbelievable amount of data, which makes it incredible at reasoning and spitting out human-like text. But, and this is a big but, on its own, it has some pretty serious limitations.
Yeah, and this right here gets to the heart of the problem. An LLM, all by itself, is totally passive. It's not going to do a single thing until you prompt it. Plus, its knowledge is basically frozen in time, right? It's limited to whatever data it was trained on. It has no clue what's on my calendar for tomorrow. It's basically this super powerful brain stuck in a box with zero connection to the real live world. Okay, so the very first step up this ladder is to give that brain some arms and legs, so to speak. We start by connecting it to the world through some simple automated workflows.
This is a perfect example of what I mean. It's a really basic automation. We're using the LLM's brain to do the smart part, summarizing articles and drafting a post. And yeah, it runs automatically, which is awesome. But look at how rigid this thing is. It can only follow the exact path we set for it. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. There's no freedom, no ability to change its mind or try something different.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. In that workflow we just saw, a human is still the one making all the decisions. The human is the programmer. We defined every single step. We wrote every prompt. If something breaks or the summary isn't quite right, a person has to dive in and fix the code. There's no real autonomy here. Not yet.
All right, buckle up because this is the big one. This is the moment we make that huge conceptual leap from a smart tool that just follows our instructions to, well, something that has genuine agency. And there it is. That's the single most important change that defines an AI agent. We stop telling the LLM how to do something. Instead, we just give it a goal, and the LLM itself becomes the director. It figures out the best way to get there. The human is no longer the programmer, the AI is.
So this leads us to our more formal definition. An AI agent is a system that is fundamentally proactive. It can perceive its environment, like, say, reading a new email. It can reason and plan out what to do next. And then it takes autonomous actions using tools, like calling an API or sending a Slack message, all to achieve a goal that you gave it.
Okay, so now that we know what an agent is, let's pop the hood and see how it actually works. What are the essential pieces that make this kind of autonomy even possible? It really boils down to 3 key parts. First, you've got the brain. That's the LLM doing all the heavy lifting, the reasoning and the planning. Then you've got the tools. These are its connections to the outside world. Things like Google Search, your Calendar API, or even the ability to run a piece of code. And finally, you have memory. This is what gives it context and lets it learn, using things like internal documents or specialized databases to know things. And all these parts work together in this continuous cycle that really drives the agent's behavior. You can think of it as the engine of autonomy. It perceives the situation. It reasons about the best next move. It acts by using one of its tools, and then it reflects on the outcome. Did that work? No? Okay, it self-corrects and tries again. It's this loop that lets it tackle complex, multi-step problems completely on its own.
All right, that's enough theory for now. Let's make this real. We're going to walk through a super simple, everyday example that shows you exactly how an agent thinks and acts out in the wild. So, let's say hello to the Kevin Cookie Company.
They're a small business, they're getting flooded with customer emails, and they want to bring in an AI agent to help manage their inbox.
This slide does a great job of breaking down the agent's thought process. So an email comes in asking for store hours. The agent perceives the question. It reasons that, hey, the answer to this is in my memory, in the FAQ document. So it acts. It uses its tools to draft a friendly reply and sends it off. Simple enough. But then, a really complex bulk order comes in. The agent perceived this new request, but its reasoning is totally different. It understands, whoa, this is way outside my expertise, and my rules say I need to escalate this. So it acts differently. It uses its Slack tool to ping a human for help. See? Same inbox, two different problems, and the agent autonomously chose the right path for each one.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Now that we've seen how these things actually work, what does this big shift towards proactive agentic AI really mean for the future?
The horizon here is honestly incredibly exciting. We're already seeing what's called multi-agent systems, where you have whole teams of specialized AIs working together, like a researcher agent that finds information and hands it off to a writer agent. But as these systems get deployed to handle real, critical business processes, the need for rock-solid safety guardrails becomes non-negotiable. I mean, we absolutely have to make sure these autonomous systems operate reliably and stay within the boundaries we set for them.
And really, this slide captures the key takeaway perfectly. We are moving out of an era where AI is just a conversational tool that we command, and into an era where AI is a collaborative teammate that works alongside us to get complex stuff done.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. As this technology gets better and better, the question for all of us isn't just, what can I ask my AI anymore? The new question is, when my AI can truly act for me, what meaningful goals am I going to ask it to pursue?